Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the LAFCO meeting of Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. It is just after 4 p.m. and we'll get the meeting started. We'll start with a salute to the flag, and Josh, will you lead us in that?
Yes, it'd be my pleasure. All right. After me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thanks. And Amy, will you call the roll?
All right. Commissioner Alpine,
Here.
Commissioner Burris,
I am here. I'm also attending remotely using my emergency exception because I'm ill.
all right, and is there anyone over 18 in the room with you?
No.
Okay. And Commissioner Landon?
Here.
Commissioner Mendonça?
Here.
Commissioner Rohan?
Here.
Commissioner Stevens? Alternate Commissioner Holmes? Alternate Commissioner Carl? Alternate Commissioner Nisley? Here. Alternate Commissioner Spriggs? Here. And Chair Gustafson?
Here. And I understand there's a truck fire, no surprise, at Gold Run. And, yeah, it's the start of our season, for those of you who don't know, the Interstate 80 truck fire situation. Yes.
Check your brakes.
Thankfully, I think it's out at this point.
Yeah, good, good. Okay, so we'll move on now to if there's any changes requested on our agenda for today. Otherwise, I'd accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Amy, you can decide who got it. Okay.
He's had to look at his shirt.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion.
We have to do a roll call.
Oh, we have to do a roll call. I'm so sorry. We have a remote attendee, so we're going to do all votes by roll call.
All right. Commissioner Alpine?
Yes.
Commissioner Burris?
Yes.
Commissioner Landon?
Yes.
Commissioner Mendonça?
Yes.
Commissioner Rohan?
Yes.
Chair Gustafson?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion passes. And we'll move on now. This is our time for public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to the commission on any subject matter within our jurisdiction, but not appearing on today's agenda. Please submit a speaker card if you are interested. You don't have to, though. We'll just take anyone who'd like to speak to us. It just helps us organize and call you in order. And then you need to limit your comments to 3 minutes today. And items from the public can be taken under consideration, but we can't discuss them today because they're not on the agenda. So thanks very much. What a great turnout we have. One of the best turnouts I think we've ever had since I've been on the commission. So we appreciate the public participating in our discussion today. So I'll open it up. Do we have any speaker cards, or would you like to just go ahead and jump up? And thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate that you guys are all volunteers and taking the time out of your days for serving us, and we appreciate that very much. I've been on boards before, and I know what it entails, so thank you. We were here last month, and we just had 5 or 6 people, and we told you that the Village 5 issue was a jugular issue for
And
many
I'm
of-
sorry to interrupt you,
Oh.
but can you start with your name
Sure.
just for the record? I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
Aaron Zambrana, and I live at 3440 Rockwell Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And this has been an issue that's been brewing for a long time. We've voiced our opposition to this and the way they're writing it to be annexed in. And we took some time. Many years ago, we went about and got a survey and had people sign a petition. About 4 of us did the same over the last few days just to kind of get a pulse as to where we are. And as a no surprise, and if you'd like to, I'd be happy to pass this up to you. There is no shortage of people who are vehemently opposed to being annexed into the city of Lincoln as it's written. The issues are various, but a big part of them are there's nothing tangible being offered to us in exchange for being part of the city. Our rights and our privileges as people dwelling in the country are being threatened. They say they have an ag overlay, which will provide us the opportunity to continue to do some of the things that we do as rural residents. However, this can be changed with a vote. 5-6 years down the road, as homes come up around us, and we suddenly find that our motorcycles or our horses or our disking of our fields is no longer compatible with the neighborhood next door. And with a simple vote with the city council, that precious ag overlay that they're dangling in front of us, if it's something big, is gone. And now suddenly we have no guarantees. The open space requirements required by Richland Homes is another big one. Many of us live along Markham Ravine and Auburn Ravine. These are our private properties. And to fulfill the open space requirement that Richland Home is required to have in order to build homes, any homes anyways, there has to be a certain open space requirement. Well, they're using our properties, our private properties, to fulfill open land requirements, which once that space is designated as open space land, it takes away our right as private property owners to do with the land as we please. This is wrong. This is really wrong. I could go on, but I will just say that the troops are here. Many, many more, I'm sure, are going to be attending via Zoom. Many wanted to be here but couldn't be here. But I assure you, there's no reason why the city couldn't go back to the drawing board. I know it's frustrating for everybody. I know there's a lot of money and people have been waiting a long time. There's no reason why they couldn't annex just the Richland properties and leave us be. I don't see any reason. There's a lot of us who don't want anything to do with it. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Aaron. Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Becky Laspina. My husband Michael and I live at 950 Nelson Lane in Lincoln. We've been Placer County residents for 29 years. So it wasn't until 2008 or 14 years after we moved into our property that the city of Lincoln adopted their 2050 general plan and put us in their sphere of influence for future growth. And it was sometime around 2011 to 2013 where Richland Development or Communities went and collaborated with the city of Lincoln for a master planned community. And I use collaborated because that's what is in the city of Lincoln's online discussion of the project. And I know that according to documentation, Richland only owns 32% of that sphere of influence. So there's 68% of us other landholders who do not want to be annexed into the city of Lincoln. They're not offering us any opportunities for anything, but we'll be paying taxes for things we won't have access to. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Next, who would like to be next? Go ahead. I'll just ask you to go ahead and kind of jump up after somebody's done, don't.
Hi, my name is Lauren Byer. I live in Village 5 on Rockwell Lane. And I thank all of you for being here. I know this is a lot, and I'm sure this is a little intimidating to see all of us here, but we're all here for a reason. We're all here because we're passionate. We all live in a rural community because that's what we wanted. That's what we signed up for. You guys are here to help make decisions for the community of Lincoln, for the city, for the people. I am just asking that you please make decisions not only based on the people who aren't here yet, but the people who are already here, the people who are already paying the taxes, the people who are already part of the community. You can't base everything in a community off of the projection of these people are coming and this is what they might want. They're not here. We are here. We are all here. We're asking you, look at the big picture, and what the 68%, that's us, and this is what we represent. We are here to speak our mind, to stand up for what we want on our property. You're gonna, this votes can change what we're allowed to do on our property, how much taxes we have to pay. It can make it so people can't afford to stay on their own properties that they've already been on because they no longer can afford the city taxes that are then coming in. They can't, if we have to hook up to city water and sewer and all of that. Yeah, they say oh, we'll help, combat the cost, but end to end, that's coming out of my taxes either way. So I am just asking all of you to please look at the side that we're standing on and say, you know, maybe they do have a point. Maybe they do have a right, because we've all invested time, money, energy, effort, raising people, raising animals, raising children, raising families to raise up the community of Lincoln. And we are the old community of Lincoln. We're the standing, founding people that are still there that say, this is what we want. This is why we're here. This is why we love this land, love this country, love this county. And if you annex it in, we're going to start to not love this community, not love this county, and not love where we live, and maybe end up having to go elsewhere. And that's not what we want. We want to be a part, but we want to be a part in a way where we can still have our livelihoods, but thrive in the community of Lincoln. So please just take your time and listen to us, and that's all I can ask.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Next.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Beverly Burnett, and I'm at 4310 Charlene Way. And I have my son here, Jeff Hollick, and his girlfriend, Brianna. And my father had purchased 20 acres out there at 4310 Charlene. And we have developed a walnut orchard. And my grandson is coming this year. As a matter of fact, he'll be here in the next month, to learn how to do agriculture, to learn how to do walnut farming. This is an industry that there isn't a lot of growth in. Kids don't want to do this anymore. This is an opportunity to teach this, for him to learn, for us to even train other individuals within the school district that he'll be going to here in Placer County. I think it's very important to share this knowledge and grow this. And I want to do more in that space. So, you know, with the 20 acres we have, it's not a lot, but we need to be able to maintain that the way we have it today. We are improving it, and it's better for everybody in the community at large. And it's a good teaching opportunity for our young. That's what I have.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Beverly. Next. We have the hand mic.
We're there. Thank you. My name is Byron Chapman. I'm a resident of Lincoln off of 12 Bridges. I've been in Lincoln a little over a dozen years. I too am here to talk about the whole annexation issue of Village 5, Village 7. First ask yourselves, and one of the presenters before me mentioned this, why in the world would a city offer you something that you already have? Why would you offer a ag overlay when you already have that? Makes absolutely no sense. It seems like the intent is to make sure that you can get to that point and then get to another one. And that's what we're seeing. That's what's going on. There's no secret, the city of Lincoln is certainly trying hard to get their responders, first responders up to speed. We're not there yet. In fact, we're not even close. Police and fire. So it's a continuing process that we're working through. It attended a meeting last night, and we're talking about the issues of water rates, you know, how much they're going up. I think there were some valid reasons as to why that is, but nonetheless, it's on the rise. And at that point, I'm asking myself, if you get to the point where you bill all of this out the way it is set up, some 4,500 acres, that's a tremendous amount of land. On top of that, think of all the people that have been there all this time. The city's catching up with them. One of the other things I'd like to point out is years ago when somebody came up with the idea of turning corn into fuel for your car. The one thing about that is you can eat the corn, but you can't drink the oil. If you take away the property and the land that's been out there for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and these people are trying to do what they can, and they have that right to do so, ask yourself if you were them. Ask yourself if now you have to fight a city to keep them out of your backyard. And this is anything but ludicrous. There are many things here that say why this shouldn't happen. And certainly the reasons that are there are extremely valid. And I think you want to take a very, very hard look at this. Thank you.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you.
Who's next? Anyone? Don't be shy. You came a long way to be here and talk to us, so we want to hear from you.
Yeah. Okay, my name's Wally Larson. I've been in a house in Rockland, on Neighbor Lane in Lincoln since 45 years ago. And the big thing I don't like about this Village 5, they're gonna cut my property in two. I'm gonna have a piece of property on the other side of the creek. I'm gonna have a piece of property on this side of the creek. Because I'm right in the middle of what they want to do for a green belt. And I don't want just anybody walking through my backyard. Because chances are there's going to be homeless people showing up there then. And I really don't want to have to deal with that. And I don't want to have to call law enforcement to get after people. So that's the reason. And the second thing is, I went to the first meeting with Richland 10 years ago on Nelson Lane at the church. And then they told us, we're not getting water, we're not getting sewer, we're not getting anything except taxes. Would you like that? I'll bet you wouldn't. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. Anyone else?
My name's Roger Hacka. I live next door to Wally. You want to take the center of my property away? That is a bunch of you-know-what. And it comes out of the rear of a cow. I had promised my wife I'd be nice up here. But I had to say that.
You're being very polite.
If this goes through and the city makes an attempt to take that, I am going to hold every one of the city council people, every commissioner, personally and corporately, I will sue you for taking without compensation. You can buy my property if you want to. If you got $1.5 million, I'll gladly sell it to the city tomorrow. But take it without paying for it? No. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission this afternoon?
Good evening, afternoon, Commissioners. Ben Brown, Lincoln City Council member. I am a little late to some of the things that have been said already. Just being sworn in as a city council member, it's taken a while to really get to understand and know a lot of what has happened, what hasn't happened, things that are in the works. It's of my opinion that those that take a lot of their heart and blood to build a place of their own, to dig their own wells, really ought to be left to what they love and what they want. I don't know what that means for me with City Council and other things that Lincoln's trying to do, and I still have to understand quite a bit about what that is. But in my heart, that's how I feel. If that's what they want, that's what they need. I would like to figure out a way to provide that. Some of the things that I have learned when it comes to some of the Village 5 or Village 7 things that have already gone through, I'm a little unhappy with the way some of that has gone down. Nothing that I can do about it now, and try to move forward the best that we can. But if there's a way that we can continue to let them have what they need, what they want as part of the county, I'm for that. Thanks.
Thank you, and congrats on the election, I think. If you're like the rest of us, you wonder whether you...
I'll tell you the story later, but I was a little shocked that I was now a city council member. I was like, wait a minute, what? But I am enjoying it quite a bit.
Good. Lots to learn. We learn every day in our jobs.
How much hair he has next year.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anyone else who'd like here in the room? And then we do have some people, I see some hands on Zoom as well, so we'll go there next.
Hi, my name is Chris Davis, and I live on Moore Road. We're Village 7. My parents built the house that I live in 45 years ago. My husband and I lived there. We raised our kids there. We've shown cattle. My husband has managed ranches. In fact, he managed Antonio Mountain Ranch, which is where the sewer plant is there off of Finment Road for years. But my parents came there, and we stayed there because of the agriculture. When I was going to high school there wasn't even a traffic light there. My kids have gone to school, my grandkids have gone to school there, and all of them have been involved in agriculture. The school farm, which is there on Dowd Road, is one of the biggest in the state of California, and it's well known throughout Northern California. The annexation has come to us there at Village 7, there on Moore Road. There was nothing we could do to stop it, although we tried. But one of the things that we worry about is it just keeps going. They keep, like they're talking about, they keep taking. When we have asked, well, what do we do about sewer and water? We've basically been told there's nothing, to be tied in. But that annexation, the town keeps growing, and the annexation keeps growing, and it keeps going into agricultural land. And I hate to see this, but I keep even looking. I drove down by the school farm just the other day, and I thought, it's not too far from town where the school farm is, and the rice fields are, and it just keeps coming. So I do hope that they look at what all of these people there on the Nelson Lane or in Village 5, they came there and they wanted agriculture, they wanted to live in the country. And they came there before it was profitable to do so. And I just think that these things need to be looked at before they're just rolled over. Because agriculture is still a commodity in Placer County, and I hate to see what's coming our way. And without any thought to what it's taking. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to address the commission? Do we have a timer on the? Okay.
Hi, my name is Danny Rosinski. I live at 100 South Dowd in Lincoln. I'm not that far from the Lincoln farm that's out there as well. I moved out to the country a year and a half ago from another place here in town. I'm in agreement with the gentleman over here that if you want to come and do stuff onto our property and you want to have a piece of it, buy it. You want to come out and update all the roads and not be able to supply us with sewer, water, gas, any of that kind of stuff and make us pay for it, that's got to be relooked at again. The agricultural overlay, where that is a dangling carrot for something that, I don't use it for that, but I have that ability because it's my property. If you want to take that away from people who use it already, what's that for? We already got that. Figure something else out. Taking it from us, that probably is not going to be the best direction to go. I bought my property from someone that's owned it forever and ever and ever. They've raised their family and grandkids there, and I'm going to plan to do the same thing. I think that, again, if you're going to try to just take that property from us, that's not the best way to make that happen. I think there should be a better way to sit down and discuss this, figure out a better way to do that, or don't even build out there. That's probably the best way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Thorpe, and I live at 2781 Heatherbrook Lane in Lincoln. I'm next to the Shivers property, and I have 10 acres, and we are about an eighth of a mile to the street Nelson Lane. So if we were to get connected somehow, it might take a long connection. But anyway, that's not why I'm here. We've been there for 38 years. I'm here representing my husband, too, Gene Thorpe. And we just want to say that we would like to keep the right to farm. I know it's an ag overlay, but I know that it can take one city council member to overlook that in the future. So we really want to keep that there. We would really like, we are concerned about the police and fire services in the city. I know they're working on that, but for especially fire, that we do get the funding for that. But I know each one of us here are truly from the heart. I'm not a speaker, so it takes a lot.
You're
for
doing
me to be
great.
up here. Thank you. So I'm representing a lot of people that can't be here today. So I just want to say that please really consider all, avenues and think about the people that have been there for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. You did a great job. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak? I'm going to take last call here because we do have some online that are, you see all the list of names up there. There's others we want to call on too.
My name's Mike Larson. I live at 3183 Nicholas Road. I also recently bought my neighbor's house, 3251 or 52 Nelson Lane, Neighbor Lane. And I heard somebody speak about dealing with homeless people and people walking around late in the evening. I'm already dealing with that now. I live right on the corner where the strawberry patch used to be. And we've had, well, up until this year, 2 people. I imagine there'll be more. They're clever enough to kind of halfway stay on the road so the sheriff can't do anything. They use excuses like they want to get a cup of water, but they're walking in 200 feet onto my property to get into a irrigation line, and then they leave the faucet open. They don't care. And I realize as more and more houses go up for across the way from me, you got what, 2,200 homes or something like that? That's ugly, by the way. I don't like to look at a bunch of houses that are 6 feet apart. I know that's a great tax base, I get it, but I didn't move out here. I've lived here for about 10 years. I got 2 kids, a wife, and I live with my in-laws. I didn't move out here to bounce my broom against somebody's window. Okay, I don't want it. I like driving my motorbikes. I like making a little bit of noise. I am irritated by people that have high horsepower cars and they do burnouts at the intersection there right next to the airport. Can I control that? No. Can the CHB try to control it? Yeah, hopefully. But it's more and more people. I don't want to see it. I'm sure you understand that. I'm not a city dweller. I have tractors and stuff and dirt. I like my dirt. I just like to keep it that way. So,
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. Last, anyone else? How many of you agree with the speakers we've heard? Okay. I assume so, but I just wanted to double check. Okay, so now we'll close the public hearing in here, public comment in here. We'll go to those online, and I see we have at least one hand raised, and I would ask anyone else who'd like to speak to raise your hand so we can call on you. Amy, can you?
Albert, Connie, and Carol, I've just given them the ability to speak.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Yeah, so Albert Shiver, I'm sitting here with my wife, Connie, and my mom, Carol. Couldn't be there today, but we'd first like to thank everybody that showed up today that could make it, take time out of their day. And so I know for months now I've been coming to the LAFCO meetings, and I appreciate that now you can see that it's not just me that opposes this project as it's proposed. So we fully intend to be at next month's meeting if it's going to be on the agenda as kind of tentatively scheduled it was. So, and I echo all of the comments that my neighbors have made. So thank you very much.
Not opposed to development, just crap.
Yeah, we're not opposed to development, just this crappy one. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Alfred.
No, don't.
Gina, can you hear us?
Okay.
There we go.
My name is Gina Rockwell Morse. I live at 3635 Rockwell Lane. Been out here for about, 60 years. We were the second house on the road. The road is named after my dad. I am opposed to Village 5 annexation. I have to talk with Aaron about the open space, because on Richland's map, it shows my 10 acres on the back side. There's an eighth of that 10 acres that they want to make that a walking path because they think there's a stream back there. There is no stream. In the winter, yes, we have water that sits there until it dries off. My question is, if the city annexes and Richland makes that an open space, who's liable if one of those walkers get hurt? Is my family liable? Is the city liable? Is Richland liable? For many reasons, I'm opposed to the annexation of our neighborhood into the city. Thank you very much for your diligence.
Thank you, Gina. Appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else online? If so, raise your hand so we can call on you. I'm not seeing any other hands. Do you see any other hands? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for all the public comment we've received today. Maybe, Michelle, while we have all these folks here, do we have an approximate timeline on the application?
Yes, we do. It was tentatively scheduled for our August meeting, but because we will not have a quorum, we have some of our commissioners will be out of town. So we are, our staff is recommending we cancel the August meeting, and then the Village 5, 7B, as well as the Sphere of Influence update for the City of Lincoln will be on the September 13th agenda.
Okay, thank you. So you all understand we'll cancel August, September 13th would be the next time, and that will be on the agenda.
Yes, and we will be sending out notices to those that live within the proposal area as well as the surrounding area.
Okay, and so then public comments, again, on that item will not be under the public comment time. It will be under the item after we receive the presentation on that. And you can submit public comments to this commission at any time on this item in writing at any time. Sir, I know you have a question. I don't want to get into a big dialogue, but is it a quick?
No, are we just putting on the agenda to actually vote on it or just discuss it? What's the agenda?
No, it would be for the commission to consider.
Yeah, we can consider. We don't have to take action that day, but we would be considering, and that's what they're requesting us to do. But. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. You're welcome to.
I have a question. I would like each of the 6 of you to take 3 minutes and tell us how you feel about this.
Sir, yes, September 13th is when.
September 13th.
Is when we will be.
You have no opinion today?
I haven't studied the issue. I don't
You haven't studied it? It's 7, 8 years old.
I know, sir, but I haven't been on this board 7 or 8 years. So many of us we will be studying this issue and going through the process with all the data and hearing all this great public comment and taking it into consideration. That is the job that we sign up for, is to hear from the public. So again, I want to thank you for your time here today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in September as well. And you're welcome to stay for the rest of our not very exciting meeting today, but we'll now move on to our consent calendar. This includes our minutes from the commission meeting from June 14th, our financial reports from May of 2023. Are there any other changes, Michelle, that you wanted, or otherwise?
No changes from staff, Chair.
Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to approve consent.
Move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. And then we'll call roll on this one again.
All right, Commissioner Alpine,
Yes.
Commissioner Burris,
She is.
she's gone. Okay. Commissioner Landon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mendonça,
Yes.
Commissioner Rohan, Chair Gustafson.
Yes.
All right.
I feel bad for Rick sitting at Gold Run and driving all the way down, not
Hopefully
making
it's
to
turned
the
around.
meeting. Yeah, hopefully. So we'll move on to item 6 on our agenda. These are our business items for today. And item 6A is our service review policy.
Thank you, Chair. We had briefly talked about this policy. Well, we've been talking about it for the last couple of years, honestly. And these are the various portions of this policy have been mentioned, discussed, in the last 2 years. This is a combination of everything that I think I heard from you. And again, the commitment your commitment of being transparent, of including the public as much as we can, of making sure that we're in compliance with state law and that we conduct these regularly. As we've discussed, there are several service reviews that have never been completed that were, they were due back in January of 2008. So the direction that I mentioned that I've heard from you is to make sure that the 5-year timeline, that we stick to that as much as we can. So with that, I'm happy to make any changes. If there's something that I need to add that you have mentioned, or I'm happy to take those additions and edits as well. And we can certainly bring this back. Staff can bring this back if there's significant changes.
Great, thank you, Michelle. Commissioners, are there any comments or questions on the proposed policy?
I'll make a comment. I like let's talk to Michelle about it. Since we already have the MSR kind of work plan, and in the future, as that gets defined with the name, maybe tie that into the program, that this is the guiding document. And so all the MSRs are basically programmed, they're already programmed in our system to be done per the statutory regulations of every 60 months. It's important that those are kept to date, because let's say a special district or they waive the MSRs, sometimes it hinders those districts, cities, or other entities from benefiting from program money because they do not have a study in place to capture the benefit of economic of whatever's out for them. So, but I do like item F. Item F in there was that it just simply, if there is an MSR to be waived, there's a process and it does come before the board, knowing that. So it's just not arbitrarily done at the executive level, or it will really have to come in front of the board. So to prevent people from damaging themselves, like you say, as what we have seen, not only here in other cities. So I think it's a very good policy at this time.
Thank you. Yes, that was important to me as well, because there's a lot of administrative procedures, right, that can be done in the office that doesn't necessarily come to the commission. And so that's why you see a lot of items that may not have been brought forward to your attention. And Amy and I are fantastic, and we let you know, but we may not always be here. And so I think the policy, that will live on, that to me, that was important to have transparency, not just for the public, but for you with your staff.
I'd like to add one more comment. I always view the MSRs as it's basically the library of your public services. So it tells you how the service is being applied to you. whether that's garbage or fire or whatever. It's a very important document, and that's what translates for the public to see if you're getting your value and services are being provided in the most economic and most beneficial ways to the ratepayer. They should be updated, and we should have a healthy library that people could go and look, and especially with technology, and you can see things online now. So I think it's very important that those things are constantly updated.
Great, thank you, Josh. Any other comments?
I agree with everything Josh has said. I think it's really laid out very well. I did have a question on page 14 under preparing. 4C, the written report on the service review study, is that actually the material that comes to the commission for its consideration? Or who is that report written for?
Service review and recommendations. Right, so when staff usually prepares a list of determinations that come from the study, and the commission will have to amend or adopt, with changes, et cetera. But yes, that is what you're required to do.
So it's essentially the staff report?
Yes, except that you do not adopt the staff report, you adopt the resolution.
Exactly.
So it's in the resolution, but yes.
Okay. All right. And then I think it's a good idea for us to have a common understanding of what proactive community engagement is. And we've talked about it recently, but the rest of the commission hasn't been privy to that. And I think it's just a good idea to make sure everybody knows what you're talking about.
Sure. So I would like us to be an agency that is a resource. So something that I mentioned to Susan is that, our Commissioner Rohan, is that not every resident in Placer County will ever need LAFCO. There's no need for them to ever request services or anything from us, right? They live in the city, they have city water, they have sewer, they have fire, they have police, everything is going well. But there's other areas of our county that they're in the unincorporated, they're in the periphery of the city, and sometimes those services, right, like for fire especially in our WUI areas, they may need LAFCO. So what I'd like to do, what I've been wanting to do and I need to do more of, is make sure that those board members and the city council members know that they can contact us and say, hey, come do a presentation because we have this issue. It doesn't make sense in my mind for me to be visible to everyone in Placer County, and it's just not a good use of my time. But I would like us to be engaged with our special districts, with our cities, so if they need our help, then we can go there and be a resource. And I've, like I said, I'd like to do more, but recently I did that with Forest Hill, Blue Ribbon Committee with the City of Loomis as they're going through their general plan, and blanking right now. But in any event, I would like us to be a resource when we need help. It's just impossible to get to everyone, so we need to pick and choose where we need to focus our energy and availability.
So public engagement could include stakeholder outreach to city attorneys, county council. Absolutely. Planning commissioners in the various cities in the county.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And, it's impossible for us to know, exactly who needs us. We do receive agendas and we try and go through them. And I'm sure some of you have called Mayor from Colfax recently, right? Hey, there's a LAFCO related item on your agenda, but it's impossible for me to see everyone's agenda. We have 37 special districts, 6 cities, but if they can trust us to, even if we don't know the answer right away, we can get them the answer and be a resource. I think that is very important to me.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
My question was actually the same as Commissioner Rohan, so I'm glad that you asked it. And I 100% agree with you. I'm so glad this is an area that you're focused on, because I think it's an area where we've been lacking, and so I can only see good things coming from this. So thank you for thinking of it and putting it in there.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, as you know, I love talking about LAFCO, so any excuse.
I had one other question. I realize that this is a question about the policy that is currently in effect until we change it.
Our other commissioner has arrived.
Right there.
And he looks a little battle worn here.
Gold, what happened to Gold Run? Covered in them slings. Yeah, I see the other guy.
We'll let you get seated here and I'll proceed. Okay, I
Go
just
ahead,
wanted to
Susan.
ask a question about, is this light still on? The former policy. It's on page 16, policy number 5. When updating a general or community plan, the county and city should coordinate with LAFCO to see that a corresponding municipal services review is completed in conjunction with the plan. How would that be consistent on county unincorporated development?
Well, that's interesting because it depends, right? There's some areas within Placer County that receive, frankly, municipal services, right? Sewer services, which, coming from a more ag county where sewer is considered municipal services. And here, there's certain parts of our county where they have that. So it just depends, I think. There's some of our special districts that are providing services, potable water, for example. And so, yes, we should be doing a municipal service review for those agencies that are providing services to the unincorporated areas, even if it is a county development, because they're using services that are, I'm just thinking of a water agency that provides potable water. We need to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing.
Is that policy embedded in the proposed policy?
So it is.
Exactly see it.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned timing, project syncing. And so how I see that is usually a city will be conducting a general plan update, and usually they will want to involve LAFCO very early in the discussion as they're doing their environmental impact report, because you want to include your sphere in that EIR, because a sphere is subject to CEQA.
It wasn't
right?
so much cities, it was the county that was.
Right, and so that is a little bit different in this situation. But as I mentioned, if you have special districts that are providing municipal services or other services to development in the unincorporated areas, then absolutely we should be doing a service review for those special districts.
And that's in this proposed policy?
In that it project syncing, it's more of a catch-all, because as you know, special districts don't have general plans, so it really should be on the county to, again, they're supposed to notify us anyway as an affected agency to say, hey, we're doing this development, we're providing these services, and we should be commenting on their EIR as required, since we're an affected agency.
Yeah, okay.
Or I'm sorry, a responsible agency. Responsible, sorry. The special districts are affected agencies. We are the responsible, because of some of those components where the special districts may be relied on to provide services.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions from commissioners? Okay, then I'll look to the public. Is there anybody in the public who would like to address our service review policy? Anybody online? Okay, would you like us to adopt this then?
Yes, unless,
Okay.
as I mentioned, you have any edits for me, but so.
It didn't sound like any, so unless there's something, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Burris, second.
Oh,
Hi,
Mayor
Tom.
Burris.
Okay, and then we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Alpine?
Yes.
Commissioner Burris?
Yes.
Commissioner Landon?
Yes.
Commissioner Mendoza?
Yes.
Commissioner Rohan?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Chair Gustafson?
Yes. Thank you. We'll move on to item 6B, appropriate $250,000 to assigned fund balance general reserve.
Thank you. I'll keep this short. This is just to implement the policy that you adopted with the direction last meeting to appropriate the $250,000.
Okay, any comments or questions? I wouldn't expect any. Any public comment on this item? Not seeing any. Anybody online? Okay, then I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second. That's where I'm at.
Okay,
Mr. Second all day.
call the roll.
All right. Commissioner Alpine?
Yes.
Commissioner Burris?
Yes.
Commissioner Landon?
Yes.
Commissioner Mendoza?
Yes.
Commissioner Rohan?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
And Chair Gustafson?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 6C, Executive Officer's Report.
Thank you, Chair. One of my report is that the meeting cancellation for August because we do not have a quorum, and so the Village 5 and 7, the sphere of influence for the city of Lincoln, that will be at the September meeting instead of the August that I reported. The other item that I wanted to share with you is that we are working on interviews. We conducted first round interview for the analyst position, and we're doing second round for the top 2 individuals this week. So hopefully we can provide you an update soon. And I don't have any other new items. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them on any of our projects.
Any questions? Comments, commissioners? Okay. Thank you very much. So now is time for item 7, which is closed session. And before we go into, 8 is closed session, but on 7, we're going to determine whether the alternate commissioners have an essential role to play in the performance evaluation.
I move. I'll make the motion. I move that they play an important role in our
I agree.
EO's evaluation and
I-
other decision-making
I know they may
parts
have to
of
step in.
LAFCO.
I think they should be involved.
I think they should be involved in almost
Yeah.
everything.
As a former alternate commissioner, I agree.
So I hear that as a second or a third or a
Second.
fourth. Okay. So
Cool.
Amy, will you call the roll?
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I didn't take public comment. Is there any public comment on the alternate commissioners participating in closed session? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Alpine?
Yes.
Commissioner Burris?
Yes.
Commissioner Landon?
Yes.
Commissioner Mendoza?
Yes.
Commissioner Rohan?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
And Chair Gustafson?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Now, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, we're going to consider the evaluation and performance of our executive officer in closed session. And Amy, you're going to make an announcement.
Yes, so this closed session is just working a little differently due to the new online requirements. So the commission will move to room CEO 3, and those online, Trinity and Michael, will log on to the Teams meeting that I sent you, and we'll get that set up in that room. And when you're done, you'll just log off of Teams and back onto Zoom.
Okay, so we'll adjourn to closed session. We'll come back to this room and conclude our meeting after that. Okay, the commission has returned from closed session. In our report from closed session, I don't know, Michael, if you want to give that, otherwise I can, that the board conducted our evaluation of our executive director. I need to summarize. and provide it to you. I'm sorry we don't have it prepared for you, but I think in general, we can all tell you that we think you're doing an outstanding job and have brought us from another place, yes, the depths of whatever to where we are today. And we're excited to be working with you and to be moving these things forward. So I'll summarize the comments and then provide it to you, and you and I can meet, maybe Susan, you and I can meet, go through not only those comments, but establishing goals and ideas for the coming year. But now we need to talk a bit about compensation, and I think I was not prepared for this, so I apologize to the other commissioners that I wasn't aware that I needed to be prepared on compensation. But Susan, I think you had asked, and we did circulate the salary survey. So do you want to talk about that a bit, or?
Well, I'm understanding that there still needs to be some clarification from HR.
Correct. From my understanding, when we set the range last year, we were going to get into the process that is the typical county employee process. So we wouldn't vary from those steps. But I think we need clarification if we can vary from those steps or not. Because setting her salary is at our discretion, but she is technically under a county employee. And so when we vary from the county process, it took both Trinity and I a bit of time to evaluate how to move her into a new category, classification for that.
This is frustrating.
I know.
And I'm sure it is for you, but as a commissioner, it's frustrating because we were trying to deal with this with the agreement with the county for providing the executive officer and providing us to have enough flexibility to do what we need to do and to be able to compete within the LAFCO world.
Right.
To retain people.
Right.
So I hope that gets communicated.
It absolutely will, and Shanti will help me on that. Supervisor Landon, yes. I will call on you to help me with how we discuss this. So what I'm going to propose is that Michael and our county council meet, and Susan, you can join us in that discussion so that we can make sure we are meeting LAFCO's needs as well as following any county rules that get put into place here. So,
great.
Sorry, I don't have an answer on that for everybody today, but Michelle, we do think you're doing an outstanding job, and we'll figure out this compensation. Hopefully we can get it all resolved and just finalize it in September. I'm sorry we won't have an August meeting, but everything will be retroactive to that evaluation. So.
Very much enjoy working for you, and I love being in Placer County so much more than I anticipated, and I anticipated that I would like Placer County a lot, but it's like...
Well, you told us in your interview you were going to like it, so...
And then it's like, it's even better, so I love it. So anyway, thank you for the opportunities that, that you've afforded me during the last 2 years and continue to afford me, so thank you.
Thank you.
You have a great partner, too.
Yes, absolutely. Amy as well. She is fantastic, as I mentioned.
Okay. And then we'll move then to commissioner comments. Any commissioner comments for today? Rick, you want to give us a traffic report?
No.
Okay.
I hope it's 1 hour instead of 2 hours and 15.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Wow. Long journey. I had a number of those last winter, but that was more predictable. Then we will adjourn the meeting. Do I need a motion to adjourn? I forget on this one. All the different boards. Okay, we'll adjourn. Thank you very much.